Hey YouTube, MyDarkness85 here, what's up? Here's a video about me explaining an archetype that needs to be released soon into the TCG. It's known as the Fossil archetype that the character from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Jim, uses. Basically, one of the main notorious cards in the archetype is this spell card known as Fossil Fusion. I'll read what it does. Basically, it is remove from play fusion material monsters that are listed on a Fossil Fusion monster card from your graveyard and your opponent's graveyard, and special summon that fusion monster from your fusion deck. This special summon is treated as a fusion summon. So basically, this would be very effective against dinos or heroes, basically, because as you can see right here, most of these fusion monsters right here, you need a machine type monster, a warrior type monster, a dinosaur type monster. So basically, the free good decks to go against with this one would be heroes, anything that runs machines, and dinosaurs. This would be very sufficient. And some other support cards for it are Time Stream, which basically, for example, let me show you an example of this card. You activate this, and let's just say if you use a warrior and one of your monsters right here to summon this guy. Then you can play Time Stream, send this to the graveyard, and bring out this one right here. And then if you bring out use another one, you can further evolve it into this. So there's a lot of combos you can pull with this card. This card right here is basically anytime you normal summon a rock, each time a rock type monster is normal summoned to your field, you can place one sacred defense barrier counter on it. And if that monster with the counter were to be destroyed by a card effect or by battle, you can remove the counter instead to save your monster from the first attempt of it being destroyed. But it only works one time. So once that counter goes, you can't give any more counters to another monster until you summon another rock type monster. So in effect, you know, it's a pretty good card, but this card's like a double-edged sword at times. Sacred Defensive Barrier. Now this card's really good because you can send this, when this is summoned, you can send this face-up card to the graveyard to inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent's life points. So basically, you already got one material for this in the graveyard already. So that can easily get you to fusion summon one of your Fossil Fusions, basically. This one right here, this is very effective against Dino Rabbit. If this would have came out during the time of Dino Rabbit, because you could summon this guy, then you can special summon one of their normal Dino monsters that was summoned via Rescue Rabbit, like Sabersaurus, for example. Put this one in defense. Into their field, to your field in defense mode, but this one will gain the attack points equal, so this becomes 1900 attack point monster right away. Also, another good card for this archetype, and it's called this one. I'll get it right here. It's called Specimen Inspection. So basically, you send one monster from your hand to the graveyard. So basically, you like send one of these guys to the graveyard or another rock type monster. Then you declare one type and level of a monster your opponent has. And if your opponent has a monster of that level and type that you declared, they have to send one monster with that declared type and level from their deck to the graveyard. So basically, you can get like if you go up against dinos, you activate this, you can basically make them send one of their monsters to the graveyard. As long as they're like a dino or something like that. Plus, against heroes, you can even send one into their graveyard. It's pretty amazing the way you look at it. So there's a lot of huge combo possibilities you can pull off with this guy. Because, like, for example, you go up against heroes, you use this, you can send one of these cards to the graveyard or another rock type monster. Then they have to send a level 4 lower warrior from their deck to the graveyard. You can automatically get this guy out, and then you can do Time Stream and get this guy out. So there's a lot of possibilities you can pull off with this card. There's a lot of strong possibilities. Also, there was another one for machines. These are the most scary versions of them. Let me just show you. The first one of the machine type is this guy right here. So basically, you need a rock type monster and a level 4 or lower machine type monster. For this one, you need one rock type monster in your graveyard plus one level 5 or 6 machine type. And then last but not least, if you summon this guy and you time stream to get him out, this is what he does. When while your opponent controls at least a monster, this monster can make up to 3 attacks per turn. And each time this card destroys a monster in battle, your opponent loses 1,000 life points for each one. So it's a really good combo with that. This guy's effect right here, this card cannot be special summoned basically, except for Fossil Fusion. If this card attacks and your opponent controls a monster at the end of the damage step, this card can attack again. Then this guy right here, his effect is, if this card attacks and your opponent controls a monster at the end of the damage step, it can attack once again in a row, and if it attacks a monster whose defense points is lower than this monster's attack points, the difference comes out of their life points. And the last, aside from this one you could summon with a level 4 or lower dinosaur type monster. So this we're not going to get into, but this guy right here, his effect is basically, if this card attacks, you can switch the attack and defense of the attack target during the damage step only. And if this card attacks a defense position monster whose defense is lower than this card's attack, you can inflict the difference in damage to your opponent's life points. So basically, you can switch a monster's defense points that this card attacks to their attack points. You could or vice versa. So for example, if your opponent's monster you're attacking has more defense points and that monster's attack points is 0, you can just switch it right up and inflict a full 3,500 points of damage or whatever to your opponent's life points right away. So like I said, this archetype should be released to the TCG because they're recently going to release the Fairy Tale archetype used by Leon von Schroeder, and then they're going to release the Valkyries that his brother Siegfried used. So why not this archetype? Plus the remaining Time Lords are coming out in that same set. Orfgoth the Relentless is coming out. Litmus Doom Swordsman's coming out. Living Fossil's coming out and all that. So this archetype should get a chance. So tell me if you think this archetype deserves to be released into the TCG one day. Maybe the OCG might release it first and see how that goes, and maybe the TCG will get it one day. So that's all I gotta say. More videos coming soon. Later, guys.